Welcome to Stargate SG1 for the first time, still not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Aiken, and I am watching Stargate SG1 for the first time.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I'm watching Stargate SG1 for the 47th time. Jeff and I are two veteran Star Trek podcasters that came together to do a Babylon 5 podcast, and we had so much fun doing that we've decided to do it again with a show that really a lot of you out there wanted us to do. I wanted us to do, Jeff wanted us to do, so we're doing it.
So whether this is your first time, like me, or your 47th time, like Brent, we invite you to come along on this journey with us as we give Stargate SG1 the for the first time treatment. For me, since it's my first viewing of this, I'm just going to be experiencing the show, watching it, seeing what unfolds, and I'm going to bring all of you along with me to relive your first viewing experience.
Which really is the best part. It really is.
It's pretty fun.
Because this is a for the first time, I'm going to be doing a first time watch through the show where I am looking for what we call those sci-fi messages, the Star Trek like messages, those messages that give you a hope for the future. Maybe they hold up a mirror to society or just show us how we can be better humans to each other. I'm looking for those, examining Stargate for the very first time with those messages rather than just watching it.
And just to reiterate a point, this is still not a Star Trek podcast. And so Brent and I like to play games on our shows. And one of our favorites is the Rule of Three. This is a game that limits us to no more than 3 references to Star Trek per episode.
That's it. 3. 1, 2, 3. No substitutions, exchanges, or refund.
And when we make those references, because you're gonna hear this noise.
While we are Star Trek podcasters, we are also Babylon 5 podcasters. Not veteran yet.
Not yet veteran
yet, but we are Babylon 5 podcasters. And those references also are sure to make their way in. And when they do, you're going to hear this sound.
Oh, yes.
And those, of course, are unlimited.
All right, Brent. So last week we watched Emancipation. We talked about it far too long. But this one, we're going to be watching today. I think it's called the Broca Divide.
The Broca Divide. Yep.
And my guess was this is going to be like Deep Space Nine's Babel, where something, the Broca in your brain is your like language processing center. So there's going to be a divide and people are going to start speaking gibberish and they got to figure things out, and there'll probably be some timer on when do we get back to the Stargate, and oh my gosh, so much pressure and I can't communicate, and what are we going to do? Hey Brent, why don't you tell me a little bit about this episode?
Well, this is season 1, episode 5. The Broca Divide is the title, as we said. Original air date, August 15th, 1997. Other than that, there's not really much else of note to talk about before we watch the episode. Hey, listen, if you guys out there are joining us for the first time, here's the way this is going to work. Jeff and I are watching this episode for the first time. We're going to go away. If you're listening, we're going to go away. We're going to go watch this episode. We're going to come back when it's done and we're going to discuss it immediately within seconds of pressing stop. For those of you watching us on YouTube, however, you're going to get to join us as we do that watch. And if you're on Patreon, then you're going to get the full unedited cut.
Let's do this.
The MGM Lion. Rawr.
Ooh, military, right from go.
In 1 hour, you will go through the gate to the planet represented by these symbols. It has been designated P3X797.
Couldn't we call this planet?
Teal'c's got a great eyebrow arch, man.
Right?
It's based on a binary code the computer uses for extrapolation.
Which makes it much easier to remember.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Sent an MALP probe through 30 minutes
Malp.
ago.
We will call it Malp from here on out.
Degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Look at that.
It appears to be very dark where the gate resides on this planet.
Oh,
Well,
cool.
the Mount probe has lights on it, doesn't it?
Oh,
We
yeah, we didn't
they
think
were
about
broken.
that.
Don't you worry, boys. That's why the SG-3 Marines are coming with. You can count
SG3,
on
baby.
us to-
Hoorah. I said that wrong. Hoorah. I wasn't a Marine. I can't do it.
Rock 4.
I actually had a real job.
You're late. Put these on. Doesn't look like my prescription.
Chevron 6.
I like that he looks
Here's
through
the
the ends of
question.
them.
Yeah.
Why doesn't the Malp have a set of these?
7. Locked.
Jack always has like a different hat from everybody else. It just
Well,
makes
because he's the colonel, right? He's got
Yeah.
to.
We'll go through first. You watch our lovely backsides, remember?
I'd send the
Scar
Marines
Sharera
first.
on the other side, those jarheads will open fire as soon as they see the light of their eyes, if you know what I mean. You want that?
Oh, the light of their... I do know what you mean.
Give us 10 count, then come on down.
We got to get out of the way on the other side of the
Uh-huh.
gate. Just give us a moment.
Well, at least it's just dark, and it didn't immediately, you know, something bad. It's very dark. This is a really long tin can. Oh. Uh-oh. It's a predator.
It's Bigfoot. Oh.
This is really hard to watch. So it looks like cavemen. Whoa! He doesn't want to save 10% on his car insurance. Dead now. I'm sure nothing bad will happen from that. Was that... Did he look like O'Neill?
I see why you would say that, though.
You know, the thing I'm really picking up on, and I think is cool, and I think here in the 2020s we're missing in a lot of shows, this is just Planet of the Week stuff.
Yeah.
This is, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. This is why I said we can't do Stargate the same way we did Babylon 5, right, Jeff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is because it doesn't carry that same overarching story. And
This one has got at least a season-long arc that I'm sniffing with Sha're and Skara, and then coming back to Abydos.
Yep.
But they're just doing their job in the meantime.
Yeah. But the great thing is what the events of one impact the events of another, as we saw with Kowalski and all of that, right?
Right.
Daniel, what are they?
They could be Australopithecus, but the brow ridge would be less prominent.
You don't know, do you?
No.
There.
This guy's wearing...
They're angels. It's
like-
more... Gosh.
They've always been here.
Oh, yes.
They could be ghouls.
Just keep them covered.
They could be Goulds. Is that what he said?
There's no entry, Scar.
Okay.
They're not ghouls. Any idea what they are?
We are the Untouched. I am High
Untouched.
Counselor Teal'c.
For crying out loud, we're not gods. Get up.
Count it. Count it.
Please, let us take you to the land of light.
Land of light. Frankly, as a viewer, I'm pretty okay with that.
Yes, I'm glad to get out of this dark. There you go.
There's like this very clear dividing line right there.
Right.
Land of light, land of dark. And the mysterious city of gold.
Big old bull.
Welcome. Please, come, sit.
So scared still.
Yeah. I totally get that.
Yep.
She doesn't know who these people are. Is this just going to be a classier version of worse?
She all right?
I do hope. We must now wait to see if she has been cursed by them.
So these touched people used to live here with you?
They wear us. They became too dangerous, and we were forced to banish them to the land of the dark.
When was the last time the good gods came around?
Well, if you are not them, then it
Then
has
never.
been at least a generation.
In that case, gear up. We'll move out in 15 minutes.
Well, we should stay a while longer and study the society, learn how they've evolved the Minoan culture.
Hey, I'm a big fan of all this stuff. But art appreciation is not what this mission is about.
Yeah, what's the mission?
Get your gear together.
That's what SG6 is for. The lower decks version of Stargaters.
Yeah, like the further down you go.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Second contact. They make second contact.
Yeah, O'Neill made the right call here. He's right. This is the mission. Mission accomplished. There's no big
No Goulds.
problem here. Like,
Yeah. Not the right address.
right? They're like, hey, yeah, the probe was right. It was dark.
Anything?
No, sir.
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, we found a whole hell of a lot, sir.
A little tension there between Daniel and Jack, isn't there?
Sorry, sir. I know I'm a guest at this party, but I have to protest.
This really isn't necessary, doctors. I've already...
Sir, would you let me finish, please? Okay.
Pierre-Paul Broca was a 19th century anthropologist. He founded modern craniometry to study craniums and brains and to compare.
He does not like this brain talk.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Oh, that's another one.
Great.
I wonder how that thing in your gut would like his neck ripped in half.
Please release me, Lieutenant Johnson.
Johnson, let him go.
Teal'c is so nonplussed.
Lieutenant Johnson, take your seat now.
He just looks disgusted. It's just like,
You ever caught somebody's fist coming at your face before, Jeff?
Yep. It was. I worked in pro
To
wrestling.
not hurt this man.
Nothing makes chest hairs spring out than something that manly.
So I'm kind of with O'Neill on this. Like, you should have your first go at there and then have a scientific or archaeological or anthropological group come afterwards. Like, that's SG1A, you know, or something. Whoa!
That might have hurt. I like that Sam and Jack or Sam and Daniel, they're just doing maintenance checks on the gate.
Just doing their job.
We need medic section C stat. 2 men down.
Yeah, yeah, maybe you should have, yeah, medic. Little too late.
Carter,
All right, there's some pheromone thing or hormone thing from the planet.
why?
They've been touched.
You're a good guesser, Jeff.
Carter, what's gotten into you?
Time you saw a doctor. Doctor.
You know what I 1000% appreciate about Jack there? He did not take advantage of that situation.
At all.
Keep her from
It wasn't even a thought in his brain.
Yep. It wasn't even like, hey, not here, or like this is. He's just like, no.
Pretty much
Yeah.
what Johnson has.
Oh, I'd say so. You never know what you're going to bring back through the Stargate.
Maybe they should have like a decon chamber and
Rub
gel on each other.
Yeah.
Notice the swelling of the and it's spreading. We got 2 more in an hour later.
So the Hilkshaw is actually, I'm probably saying that wrong, but it's probably more of a virus or something.
I've never seen
Airborne
a behavioral disorder
something.
like this. All of the victims are acting like animals.
I don't know. I've seen animals be a lot more well behaved.
I think Carter has a
Yeah.
got in a little wrestling match with Carter. Why? I guess she's got whatever Johnson's got.
And even here,
The infirmary.
he's not like, oh, Carter came on and what. He's just like gotten in a little fight,
No, she
like, protecting,
tried to seduce
really standing up for her. Oh, never. Okay, well,
Oh, I should go see her.
Why?
What do you mean, why? Because I care about her.
Care about her.
uh-oh.
It means I care about her. She's my friend. Yeah, go with my arm. Security, get in here.
Whoa!
I like
There
that
goes
the gate
Stargate guy.
technician guy is peeling
Yep.
Jack off of Daniel.
He's like, I got this.
We've managed to isolate an organism in the victim's bloodstreams. And from what I can tell, it seems
There you
to
go,
be
Jeff.
amines and cholines, chemical
That would explain the touch. I think it's safe to say that they aren't born primitive. They must have this very contagious disease, and we
So they
came in contact
really are
with
touched
that.
by
Why
little tiny
haven't you and
things.
Mr. Teal'c come down with the symptoms?
I feel like they should start drawing
I'm checking
blood.
both of your blood for the presence of the organism, and I would
There we
bet
go.
that you both have it.
Teal'c's going to be the last man standing. And Daniel, we'll figure out what that's all about. Oh, Daniel's going to have something that's going to create the vaccine. That's got to be kind of fun to play.
Pumping it was sedative.
I wonder if they're just like, hey, scream. No, different. There you go. There you go. A little more screech than scream.
Good news, General.
Could use some of that about now. What is it?
These gentlemen don't appear to have the organism in their system. Now, if we can just isolate why they've been able to resist it.
Perhaps we should ask the Untouched how they avoid contracting the disease.
Maybe they know something.
What I miss?
Now it looks like they're heading back
You go through and
to PKX 4279 Alpha Bravo.
You're immune.
to get a
I don't
blood
know
sample.
anyone else who is.
Uh-oh. Oh, that's right. I forgot he does the sneezing thing. That's the girl. Melora? Is that her name?
It's Malosha.
Malosha.
Live.
Gosh, Jeff.
I'm not doing it right.
Dump her out here.
We dump them in a small room.
No, you're right. They're like lepers.
What is a leper?
What is a leper?
God, never mind. We have to help her.
It's a good comparison, though.
Fire your weapon. We'll frighten them off.
Can't. I'm holding a person.
Daniel Jackson.
I love that he calls him by the full name. It's just perfect. Ah, the general.
Too bad he didn't get the follicle growth.
It'll come later. Takes time. Repeated use, and there's a chance for birth defects.
He kind of starting to look like a Who, like from Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Got like the little.
He just needs the nose thing to come in, and he's solid.
What is it?
It's a parasitic virus. All we can tell is that it seems to mess with body chemicals, all of them.
The way he said that, he's like, I've been waiting for this opportunity my whole life. Just experiment on me. Come on.
Welcome back, my lord. Where are your friends?
Yeah,
They
fun
have joined
story.
the Touched.
They were cursed by the Teal'c.
It is not a curse. It is a disease.
Allow me to dismantle your entire society.
This planet.
Many of us have loved ones among the Touched. My own father is there. But we accept that we cannot help them. Therefore, they are dead to us.
If you will not help me find my friend, then I must have a sample of your blood.
Our blood
Blood is our life force.
I'm having flashbacks to Believers now.
cannot abide
Right.
one in my presence any.
Oh, yes!
I feel like Teal'c needs to work on his sales pitch.
When we
Like,
return, I expect to find you gone.
I expect you to give me blood.
This is when Teal'c like needs to look and be like, I could take yours too. It'd be just as fine.
Yeah. You don't have to
I only
be
need
willing.
one person to tell me how to tell me I can have their blood.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, muscle boys.
These guys are jacked.
Do you think those guys went into casting and they're like, okay, take your shirt off? Oh,
whoa!
I'm gonna cut you and take your blood.
Is he a trained phlebotomist? No,
Yeah, they
because
trained
that's
him.
not how you do it.
Right, because if you punch that in there, that vacuum seal's done.
Yep.
Thank God you're back.
I have retrieved the blood sample you requested.
Good work, Mr. Teal'c.
Can you imagine just how much human feces is already spread throughout that facility? Like, there's no way they're using toilets.
Right. Oh, Teal'c went to visit his friend. Mm-hmm.
Colonel O'Neill? I think I might have something. I was examining the blood sample that Mr. Teal'c brought me. Then it hit me. There was very little histamine in it.
So take Benadryl?
Both Dr. Jackson and I have acute rhinitis caused by severe allergies.
So they take Benadryl.
Explain.
Yeah.
They just can't say Benadryl because Benadryl didn't give them money.
For the microbe to feed on.
Does this mean you have a cure?
Yeah.
You can't operate heavy machinery after I give this to you.
May make you drowsy.
She's like, this is what I'm going to stick inside of you.
Right.
Yeah, there's that drowsiness. It's no joke, man. Teal'c's taking such good care of him. I kind of love that.
Colonel O'Neill?
Lucy, I'm home.
Teal'c's like, yeah.
I'm not Lucy.
Reference to an old TV. Never mind. Open the door.
I will summon the doctor.
No, come on. I'm fine. I'm back to being myself. Just open up.
I cannot be certain you're back to being yourself.
Really?
You refer to me as Lucy.
We just opened the door.
Oh,
There's a third one.
so now how do you distribute it? Or are we just going to skip over that?
The guns
Something
are
like
loaded
that,
with
yeah.
tranquilizer darts filled with chlorphenyramine.
Oh, there you
Now,
go.
direct hit on a touch
Shoot him with
man or woman
antihistamine.
should
It's
not
like playing
go on long
paintball at
enough
this
in order
point.
to start the disease. Good luck.
Go nuts, guys. Have fun. I feel like this is where I'd bring in SG3. Like, get the Marines in here.
You think he's
Oh,
still alive?
grab a couple other SG teams while you're at it. We need as many as we can get.
Yeah.
They start keeping track of who gets the most. I got 21. How many do you get?
Got to find the little things in your job to find enjoyment and fulfillment.
His antihistamine wore off.
Daniel, you dog. Keep this up, you'll have a girl on every planet.
Just let me give him an injection.
Remember when Daniel sneezed earlier?
Uh-huh.
His Benadryl's wearing off. Oh, look at Daniel.
I love their facial expressions. Like, they're literally just like, the direction's like, yeah, just.
Like Teal'c fireman carrying Daniel.
Yeah,
Here.
it's like nothing.
We found a cure. And we can bring back Malosha.
And your father.
Put him in the isolation circle.
I like the guy in the background.
Yeah, like, what's up?
I'm not allowed to say anything, but that I like that you're just up on the stage is the isolation chamber.
It's the circle, isolation circle.
Yeah.
Circle.
If you are not gods, then how did you destroy the curse?
Science.
You sit there and look at him like you see the brow like deflate.
If You are not gods.
I just want somebody to say, we're not gods. We're scientists.
Jack would never.
Jack wouldn't, but Sam would. Daniel definitely would. And he'd have some Minoan thing to say on top of it. I love how that was his whole focus, and we haven't touched on the Minoan thing at all. Dude, you know how bad they have to smell?
Yeah.
They're like, Dad! Stargate SG1 saves lives and brings families together.
There you go.
I wasn't myself.
Oh, Carter, I don't even remember your earlier behavior.
You don't?
No, I was infected too, remember?
Right.
By the way, how's
Good
the
on
wound?
him.
It's nothing. With any luck, there won't even be a scar.
Oh, good. I was concerned. If it doesn't heal properly, you'll never wear that sweet little tank top number again.
All right, Jeff, that is the Broca Divide. Man, these last 45 minutes they flew by, man.
Yeah, so like you just said it, those 45 minutes flew by. I get right to it. This is a lot of fun. This is a super fun episode. Good action, right? It's a good mystery, like a good sci-fi mystery to the whole thing. Mm-hmm. This is what I would call like a good distraction episode. I might not ever go like seek this one out, you know, I got to watch the Broca Divide. But if it comes on, I'm going to sit, I'm going to pay attention to it. Like, yeah, this was really fun.
This is an episode for whatever reason, I like this episode a lot.
Yeah.
Stargate is a show for me at this point. Sometimes like when I'm just vibing, I'm just relaxing, maybe even just going to sleep. Kind of want that comfort, whatever, just sort of on in the background. Broca Divide is one of the season 1 episodes I go to every time.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of? I mean, there's a lot of sci-fi shows that have parallels to these, but one that really stood out is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Beer Bad. And so that's one where they're drinking this beer and it's got a thing in it that basically turns them into Neanderthals. And this was really similar to that.
Yeah.
But a lot of fun. One of the things that I'm enjoying about the show so far is, and I said this during the reaction, but it's just Planet of the Week. You know, here's the situation. We're going to go in, we're going to do the sci-fi thing. We're going to have some action. We're going to solve it. But one of the threads that's starting to pop up for me, and maybe like for you, you're like, well, yeah, dude, like they literally told you this. But so again, Teal'c, they pick them up. They ended up on planets really frozen in time, you know, where like these were Minoans apparently. And it's just fascinating to think, like, it's fun because what I think is going to be cool as this series progresses is there would be the fun period pieces, you know, that you get to go through. That'll be kind of fun, but also understanding that the Goa'uld show up as gods. We're going to dive into the religions of like ancient civilizations and stuff, and like some really cool mythology.
All of that is correct except for one thing.
Okay.
I would tell you these societies that you are going to encounter are not necessarily frozen in time as much as they were plucked out of time. Now imagine what that society looks like without trading with other societies. Like what if the Greeks got plucked out and they never were conquered by the Persians or by the Romans, you know, with just being within themselves without having the trade and the library and the information exchange going on around the world. I love this idea. Like, this is really cool because like I was coming from a place of, you know, people are just going to think and they're going to experiment and they're going to try. There's going to be some of that, right? But you're right. Like we grow as a civilization by interacting with other civilizations together, right? Here's the sci-fi theme of maybe part of Stargate, but together we all advance more. Now, wouldn't it be great if it wasn't through conquering and things like that, but was, you know, hey, we're going to set up a trade route and we're going to do cultural exchanges and stuff like that. I think the faster that information has been able to flow, the faster the world has been able to advance technologically.
Exactly. What I hope happens in future episodes is that we see some innovations. We see some stuff that they've come up with. Cause I think there is still that piece of, we have a trebuchet. Like that's the thing we have here. It's got to be a way to do this better. Somebody's asking that question, and they're going to go in some weird directions because of where they're at. And maybe there'll be some cool technologies that come up. But what was very similar to Emancipation last week in this deep-seated, again, religious belief system that pretty inhumane compared to our standards. And we're going to go in and we're going to impact that, So it makes sense though, with them being like scooped up and the Gould doing it as gods.
Yep.
It's just the different ways they show up. I just have one question out of this one. And SG1, they are scientists, Gould, Jaffa, and Air Force. So like it's an Air Force based team. Yep. SG3 were a bunch of Marines. Is that kind of how it's broken up, like the different teams?
No, not really. The people that serve in the SGC on SG teams can come from any branch, but they're going to mostly be Air Force. It is being administered by the Air Force, and the teams generally will have this makeup of they're typically going to be 4-man teams or 4-person teams. You're going to have the person like Daniel, the cultural person who can kind of like try to keep them out of hot water politically. You'll
handle society and all that stuff.
Right. You might have like the geologist or something like that who can study things, but then you're still going to have I'm sorry for lack of a better word, the Gropos.
Yeah, right. That's good.
Oh, yes.
Well done.
We have to update our ranking, or not our ranking, our tracking list.
We had 3 for crying out louds in this one.
That's a lot of for crying out louds in one episode, but yeah, we had 3 of them. I
love how he slipped one out as he was like in trans. He's like, I'm fading for crying out. It's clearly going to be kind of his thing. So that's kind of it for my first watch. Did you get any like sci-fi messages out of this one?
I didn't think I was. I really wanted to go down the path of this is about how we treat the afflicted, a metaphor for the poor, the homeless, the sick, and how instead of helping, it's easier just to cast them out or send them to the nursing home or put them in a sanctuary district or whatever to ignore them. But I think that begins to really break down when you consider the children of the light, the Minoan society, that they hadn't really advanced that far technologically. They didn't know what they were dealing with. Their society, their level of science, their level of technology, really what else could they do besides, regardless of what it is, I've got to get you away, because what they've realized is, and they were right, by contact with these people, we could become like them and they like lepers. I don't know what to do. So you got like, there is a legit functionality to that,
to what they did.
That has nothing to do with morality. It has to do with functionally, we're all going to go bad if we don't do something here.
Well, just look back 100 years even. And again, I think that analogy to lepers was so on point, because, 100-ish years ago, we were still using Hawaii as a leper colony, parts of Hawaii, and so we didn't understand, we didn't know, and we felt that was the best way we could deal with it.
Yeah. So I was about to all just chalk this up and say, no, this was a fun episode, but no chevrons, until Teal'c asked a question. It was Teal'c. He said, he's talking to Tupelo and the girl, and she's like, yeah, that's my daughter. My dad's out there. And he looks at him and he goes, how could you be so heartless? And I went, you know what? Here we go. When you deal with the reality all the time, like, how could they be so heartless? And here's the thing, because as a society for generations and years and however long, it's just a fact of society. If you're touched, you've got to go out. And if you don't, it's gonna be the end for all of us. That's just a hard fact. It sucks, but it's just a hard fact. So yeah, my dad's out there, but ain't nothing I can do about it. When you deal with stuff on that level, when you have to deal in the reality of doing things that are heartless, it can make you heartless. The reality of a tough job can harden you. but it's really important not to let it. I work with people all the time that deal with hard situations. I work a lot with physicians and, people having to give cancer news, people that sign death certificates every single day. It is a normal, everyday part of their job. Almost in order to get through it, you almost have to harden yourself to it and steel yourself. But there really is a piece of saying we can't do that as a people group, because then you stop caring. And you know what happens when you stop caring? You stop searching for the answer. You stop searching for the solution. And I think it's important to not let it. I think that really, if I had to say, is there a thrust to what this episode was about? And I think it really was there. So Jeff, that was my message, was even though you have to do things that are heartless, sometimes you can't let it harden you and make you heartless.
I think it's a great call on that. And that was that moment when he said that. I was like, oh, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
I also really appreciated your, story, especially in the medical field. I know really well your interaction there. And it's, oh my God, right? Yeah. Somebody told me this really great piece of advice. And that is, whatever you do at work, don't do it at home. Right. So I think about, like, if I was a therapist, I'm not going to go home and therapy my spouse or my kids.
Yep.
Don't do it. Myself, like, I'm a manager, so I can't come home and manage.
That won't work out too well for you.
I can't manage. I don't have that. But when you think about these people that are making these really tough decisions, these hard things, that's work. Yeah. And they have to be able to have a place, their family, wherever is safe for them, where they can just be them.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that expression of who they are lets that hardening up soften, or at least gives you have the option of shields up or shields down.
Yeah.
But I think so many people, it's so hard to be in that place. They're just shields up, and then it becomes a wall, and then you're blind to all of that. Well, listen, this is great conversation. This wouldn't be a for the first time production if we didn't have some ratings here. So you, my friend, get to rate this episode based on that message we just talked through on a scale of 0 to 5 chevrons as to how strong the message was. So what do you got for us?
Yeah. I know last week I talked a lot about intentionality. I do think there was some intentionality that they put on here, but there's also the other idea of how strong is the message. And the message wasn't overly strong, but I do think it was there. And I think if you think about it, you don't have to dig too deep to get it, but it may not be replete throughout the entire episode, So for that reason, I give this one 2.5 chevrons. Nice. Right in the middle. 2.5.
That works.
Now, Jeff, while I may rate this according to chevrons on top of the message, you get to rank this episode to really just how much did you like it? How much did you enjoy it? We're going to keep a ranking of the entire season. And our current ranking has 3 entries in it. We have Children of the Gods at number 1, The Enemy Within at number 2, and Emancipation right down the list in the order that we've seen. Jeff, where do you get to place the Broca Divide in terms of ranking it according to the season?
Well, it's going to be above Emancipation. I'll tell you that. That's for sure. But I'm going to be honest. I'm struggling as to if this is number 1 or number 2. So I liked The Enemy Within. That was a good episode. I enjoyed this one a lot more. This was a fun episode.
Yep.
Children of the Gods, it's epic. It's big. A lot of stuff happened. It was fun. I finished watching that and I wanted to watch the next episode. And it was a pilot, right? That's kind of its job. But I think, this ranking really is, what am I going to sit down and watch? Like, what do I want? What am I going to choose to watch if I'm going to just turn on Stargate? Brent, this is our new number 1 episode.
There you go. I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you at all. I love Children of the Gods. Children of the Gods is one of the best pilots I've ever seen in television. Great pilot, fantastic pilot. But you're right. When it comes down to which one do I want to watch again, I personally picked this one. I'm with you on that.
This is a good episode.
I'm with you on that. Well, Jeff, that's going to do it for us here for the Broca Divide. Now, next time, the name of the episode we are watching is The First Commandment. Jeff, you care to venture a guess as to what this one's going to be about?
Two things come immediately to mind. First commandment, if you hear commandment, you go right to the 10 commandments, right? And that's a thought. Clearly religion is kind of a theme in here.
For those that don't know, what is the first commandment? Do you know?
Is that thou shalt not kill? No.
It's thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Oh, that makes sense that it's that one. I do know that there are 3 of the commandments that relate to how you relate with God, and 7 that relate to how you interact with the community around you.
Yep.
Because frankly, people didn't know how to do that back then or now. Right. But I don't think that's necessarily going to be, I don't think it's necessarily going to be religious. This is what I don't know if it's what I think it's going to be. Here's what I hope it's going to be.
Okay.
I'm kind of blown away that this episode even happened. Like, how could they have not expected at some point someone to walk through with a weird bacteria or a weird virus or something? How do they have no protocols around coming in and out of the Stargate at all? It's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
So my hope is that this is going to be about that. The first commandment is, and this is like almost the development of the protocols. Gosh, I almost want to say like the prime directive, but it's not. The prime directive here isn't going to be don't go mess with other society. It's going to be don't bring any of that stuff back here or take any of our stuff there. I'm probably super wrong, but that's what I hope it's going to be.
Well, we'll find out next time. Right here on Stargate SG1 for the first time. Hey, folks out there, thank you guys so much for joining us. Please don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your audio podcast, or if you're right here at YouTube, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to leave us a rating and review wherever you are, and share this podcast with somebody who loves Stargate SG1, or maybe somebody who is just now falling in love with this incredible series. So, until next time.
Hey, Brent.
Hey, Jeff.
Would you like to see me in my, I got a pretty sweet little tank top number.
Oh, for crying out loud.
For the record, I own one tank top. It's a Star Trek tank top, and it is not little.
Is it a sweet number?
No. It's actually one of the Pride ones from a couple years ago. It's got a really cool rainbow and then the Delta on it. I love it. It's a great tank top.
That's fun.
Don't wear that.
Hey, Club 65, you guys, welcome back into Club 65. You guys are amazing. Yeah, Jeff, I do. I can't even call this one a guilty pleasure. Like, I just enjoy this episode. There's humor.
Yep.
You know what I mean? When Jack pops in there and goes, "Lucy, I'm home." He's like,
great.
I am not named Lucy. I cannot be sure you're yourself. You called me Lucy.
Teal'c's going to be a lot of fun.
Teal'c's a lot of fun.
The way he's playing him and just the situations they're dumping him in already. Yeah. I think, like you were talking about, one of the better pilots of Sci-Fi. I think part of what makes it that is like, it's a fully formed show. Like, here they are. You know, so many Star Trek Enterprise, I thought was an excellent pilot. The first episode.
It was phenomenal. Yep.
Really well done episode, but they were still kind of figuring a couple of the people out, you know? I mean, they weren't far off, but they were so far, you know, just a couple episodes in, it's like, dude, they from go.
Yeah.
They had this dialed in.
Well, I mean, so you think about like the Voyager pilot. I think Voyager might have had the best pilot of the Berman era.
I can agree with that. It was excellent.
Would I say that that's true of even the new Kurtzman era? Maybe not. We can have that talk later. But for Voyager, it set up the show. It sent you on the adventure. It told you what you were. It introduced you to your characters, but it didn't really introduce you to all your characters.
No.
Like, you got a pretty good feel for Janeway. You really didn't know who Chakotay was.
Nope.
You didn't really know who B'Elanna was.
Tuvok.
Tuvok was just sort of there. Harry, I think you maybe got to know Harry a little bit. Got to know Tom a little bit.
Yeah, but Tom came in with that whole, like, I'm a bad boy. Who's clearly an 80s soap star.
Right. We met Kes and Neelix, but we really didn't know them at all. Like,
and that's okay.
But it got them on the ship, you know? So it didn't do as much to form for all the characters. And that's okay, because you really can't, like, it's hard to do that, especially with the 7-person ensemble cast like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
This told us 4 people, and really, I mean, it only really gave us 3, you know, in depth into the 3, and they kind of cheated because Jack and Daniel kind of on the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they both have people who got taken. So anyway, hey Jeff, let's go ahead and get out of here. I know you've got a timeline you're trying to keep, and we'll get out of here. So hey, Club 65, drop 65 down in the comment below, and we'll know that you were here. Please like, subscribe, share this video, all that sort of stuff. And until next time, for the first commandment, see you then.
We'll see.
Is that a lazy salute, Jeff?
That's better than the ones they're doing on TV. This little part here between your index finger and your middle finger, that fits right here. And then it's just an angle that goes, tuck your thumb in.
Like that?
Yeah.
Is there like an angle that the thumb needs to be tucked? Like,
no, just probably if I was still in basic, there probably is, but
so right there.
Just it's that. And if you got your cap on, you get your cover, it's just there.
It's not
hard
does
to
the
do.
angle of the hand matter?
Yeah, it's slightly forward, because there's a big difference between this and this. You know, you'll see like British.
Oh yeah, I've seen people.
Good night, mate.
Yeah.
You know, or what?
Yeah.
Good day. That's Australian.
Yeah.
The lore around that is, this means we've lost a war. This means we have not.
I always heard that it had to do with back in the days of the knights. They would lift their visor. They would lift their visor to like show that they're not enemies.
Yeah, that's where the salute comes from, right? Just like a handshake comes from, they would grasp hands to show they didn't have a knife or a dagger they were hiding.
I didn't hear that one. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, but I remember when I was in basic, somebody asked, well, how come like other countries salute like this? And like, because they've lost wars. We haven't. We still, like our weakness or whatever is still hidden over here. And I'm like, well, you know, the way we define war makes that pretty convenient that we can say we've never lost one. But
because there was that whole Vietnam thing. And
how's a conflict? Legally, I guess.
Yes. And all right, Jeff, let's get out of here, man. On that note, that happy note.
There you go.